Okay, welcome, beloveds, to Awakening and Wellness. This is going to be a new show, just a live broadcast to check in with everybody. I'm Sherry Mosley. I'm an Asian and integrative medicine practitioner and a Akashic Enlightenment author and teacher, as well as a shamanic practitioner. And I'm here in Sausalito, California. And this is just going to be a little weekly show to just check in with everybody and allow you to ask any questions, and then maybe do some healing work too. And just around the topics of ascension, which I know many are going through, and this is primarily why many of you come to this channel, is for the light language transmissions. So I'll be taking questions around ascension, as well as anything around spirituality or shamanism or health and wellness. And all of these work together. And so the questions will need to be around that whole area. So you can go ahead and chat your questions in, or you can email them in. And ideally, we will, be more ahead of things in the following weeks, so you can email me questions, and then we'll have them already prepared to go over for the show. So I'm just going to check my email because this is our first time, just to check in and see if anybody sent anything in. I made a post, I think, on YouTube and Instagram preparing us for this. So I'm just going to check. And if you have a question and you're coming on now, you can enter it into the chat box. All right, so let's just do a little check-in here. Okay, nothing in the emails. Okay. All right. So nothing coming in yet. And so if you have anything, you can type it in. And in the meantime, we'll just talk about the general things that are going on with Ascension right now. There's been so much going on. January was such a packed month, and February has been almost like the unwinding of all of that as we are integrating everything that came in and making the changes in our life, and maybe getting used to the changes that we already made, right? And this is a process. And I believe the light language that came in for the new moon on the 23rd was covering this as well. Just addressing that as we are going through this phase of ascension overall as a collective earth community, there are different phases or steps along this path, and everybody is at their different pace. And take it gently. Don't be too hard on yourself. I know a lot of people that are going through massive change, and then sometimes it's just a very internal process, right? And you are integrating things internally, and that's where the shift is really, really occurring. So just remember to allow what needs to take place and be gentle with yourself. It's also important to make sure that you're taking care of your body through these processes, and make sure that you're eating well, getting plenty of sleep, plenty of water. This also helps with going through all these changes, whether it's just the energies that are affecting you. I know some people talk about ascension symptoms, and we've talked about this before in some of the other live shows, that the symptoms usually, kind of like with the seasons, they will be better or worse depending on where your constitutional health is at that time, right? So this means if you're really run down because you've been working a lot, and then the strong ascension wave comes in, or a strong Schumann resonance comes in, then this may affect you more because you're already needing some downtime, just like if you would get a cold or a flu because the energies are increasing. Same thing here. And the shift that we've been through since December and January, it's been a lot. So I hope that you are taking care of yourself, and allowing downtime if you need it, or maybe you're feeling really excited about accelerating forward into all of these new things. This new moon brought in a lot of this new energy, prompting us to do new things that our soul is calling us to do. There is also a strong light being upgraded. So as the energies are increasing, we are upgrading ourselves continuously. And if we're holding back in this process, sometimes it can make us feel kind of stagnant or down, or maybe a little lost and confused. But then when we allow these higher energies to come in and we integrate them, whether you're doing the light language transmissions or deep meditations, connecting with your higher spiritual self and allowing these higher vibrations to come in, that is what's going to shift the world that's going on around you. And again, some of it is on a collective wave that we are all a part of. But then within those waves, I think it's Dolores Cannon mentioned, there's the different the waves of those who are awakening. There's the first wave, second wave, third wave, and each wave, more people are being called to be a part of the ascension or the paradigm shift or new birth. So I hope that you guys are all doing well with this shift. I've missed you and connecting with you on YouTube Live. I know I was doing it more last summer, and then I was doing a lot of retreats and asked to move my home. So I had some material world things to take care of as well, going through these changes with you. So I see someone's just saying hi. So no questions yet. So I'm just going to do a little check-in here and just see if there's any messages that are going to come through, or any healing work that needs to come through. And as this builds, we may get to the point where we can do a phone call and do a little live reading and healing session, just on a one question. I've done that before in other interviews, and it works well. So we'll just do a little check-in here and see if there's anything coming in for this gathering, be it now or in the future watching this. So we're just going to do a little light language here, all right? So just a little more light language here. Kutuane katare ukotoashi atane kyoto akata inane de koho shokoto ani are kiane ekiane koto o shokotoare etuane kiate uno kotoare ekatiare kataro kotoane atuare kiane koto o koto tororo shokotoane kiate ane ne koto Kutuare e kia tia shakatiana koto o nikatiane. Aketiane kotara kotoare e hatiano kotoane e katane. Atana ke ena akotoane. So this is a light language or source frequency blessing. Those are strong feelings of love and harmony coming through on this transmission. It's kind of like a warm hug. I think it's feel it in the heart. It feels really good. All right. Lovely energy. All right. So let's see. We've got some messages here we'll check in with. Sparkly skin. Someone's asking, do you have any information about sparkly skin someone experiencing? I've been noticing it more and more on me within the last few years. The sparkles and someone else. So I've never heard of it being on the skin before, but I've seen as you go through the ascension process, you will see kind of white sparkles or specks, right? And this is the higher light frequencies that you are aligning to. Okay, so yes, it could be on the skin or it could be just in the room with you, in your vision. And this is just, it's like a mirroring back to you of the high frequencies that are occurring. Um, Kind of similar to sometimes in your awakening process, you can see the grid or the life force energy that is behind everything. That has happened to me when I was doing, I guess, going through my deeper awakening phase. So they are just revealing more to you the light that you are experiencing. So wonderful. What a great feedback that you are receiving. So if you're seeing sparkles, go ahead and feel sparkly, right? What a joyous thing to enjoy, occurrence to enjoy there. Okay, another question. What is the best way to deal with the political polarity? Well, I don't really watch any politics. Um, I'm not drawn to it vibrationally speaking because it is mostly drama, right? And depending on if you can watch it without having any reaction or involvement, it's going to show where you're at, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's politics on television, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's the mailman, two dogs fighting in the street. It doesn't really matter what it is. How you choose to respond and be involved with it is 100% your choice, and you being able to be responsible for where your mind is going and what you're doing with your energy. So you can settle yourself and feel a sense of peace, knowing that all will be handled in the highest and best. If you are receiving a beneficial soul calling through anything that you're witnessing, this could be like a higher guidance of maybe how to express compassion or to share kindness with somebody. Um, and depending on the situations, sometimes there are stronger actions that are needed. But again, it's more of not getting involved into the on-screen dramas that are going on around you. And this will also help save your energy in terms of your chi and your life force, because then you are choosing to connect with higher sources of frequency and energy that actually will refuel you, right? And this can even be just interactions with friends or family, coworkers, peers, right? It really doesn't matter the type of interaction. So I hope that helped answer your question, Amy. Okay, so moving on. Okay, just some lovely comments about the sparkles. Wonderful. Somebody's asking that somebody is seeing the sparkles on somebody who is, quote, not awake. What you see is where you're at, right? So if you see it on somebody else, then you are seeing that light within them because you're the one that is viewing it and experiencing it, right? So it's where your mind is at with it. So that's beautiful to witness that light in another, right? And then to be able to share that with them, to then help them even step into it more, right? It just starts to build and build and build. Okay, another question. Confused about insectoid race. Some say they're positive and others disagree. I recently felt beings around me and have woken up hearing clicking sounds. Great, Lee. I'm glad you brought that up. I just posted on my blog, on my website, about an ET contact that I had with the mantis being, who would be considered an insectoid, interdimensional or extraterrestrial being. And when I do interact with any of the um, interdimensional or ET beings, I do hear the clicking. I do. And usually this is they're starting to communicate with you, right? And then usually there's a telepathic understanding or connection that happens after that. In terms of being benevolent or malevolent or positive or quote negative, again, there's really a lot more benevolent beings out there, but just like with people or anything you do, there needs to be discernment. The best way for there to be discernment for those interactions is for you to be in contact with your higher guidance, right? So Akashic Enlightenment is a great tool for creating that aligned connection, right, with your higher guidance and your higher guides. If you do shamanic work, you're going to call in your spirit guides, your spirit teachers. For me, and if I'm in the shamanic journey, and I mentioned this in the blog post, that my spirit teacher um, approves of me interacting with certain interdimensional beings, right? There is a yes, go do this, go do that, right? And this is the point of having these spirit guides, power animals, any type of guides that you work with, angelic guides. As long as it's a guide that you usually work with, then you know that there's a trusted relationship. Just like in the physical world, we have our friends and they look out for us, right? Like, oh, I don't think that person is, really treating you that well. You may want to have more discernment around that person. So that's great, Lee, that you're having those interactions. So just go ahead and check in. You can use Akashic Enlightenment to ask who you're interacting with, right? It's always nice to get an introduction. Try to describe and see what extraterrestrial you're coming into contact with and find out what they're saying. What is the message? What is the purpose of their interaction, right? Just like you would with a human being who's coming up to you. If they're speaking a foreign language, you're going to ask them, you're going to try to communicate with them in some way so that you both can learn and have a successful communication. So again, Lee, if you don't have a method to check in with higher guidance, you can use Akashic Enlightenment. And the tools are in the Akashic Enlightenment book. Or you can do one of the online trainings or one-on-one training, or we could do a reading on it if you're having trouble finding out for yourself. I've done that for people before as well. But great question, and you may want to read the blog post about my contact with the mantis being. It was quite beautiful, very sweet, very powerful transmission that came through, right? So they're bringing us very powerful gifts and messages and helping us to ascend, right? They're teaching us with their divine wisdom and love that they have already aligned with. And then for those that are listening, they're helping us, right? And so oftentimes they'll give me knowledge that I'm then passing on to you in the light language frequencies as well, because this is how the greater energies work once we're all working together. Okay, good. And Amy got the answer, the balanced observer, in terms of to any chaos that's going on. That's a great way to call it, a balanced observer. Okay. There's just comments on here now. What can we possibly expect energetically in March? Ooh, that's a fun question. Let's do a check-in on March here. Well, part of it is, I'm just seeing it's more of like, part of it is seasonal, where the river is flowing more. I mean, I know some people are on the opposite seasons if you're down in Australia, right? But for here, us in the US, it's going to be spring when things start to move forward even more as we're coming out of winter. But what I'm seeing is that there's just, there's a lot of action and shifts, powerful, massively powerful astrological shifts that took place end of December and January. And February has almost been that, okay, let me get my bearings, let me regroup. And so March is this blossoming, right? And really starting to enjoy what is taking place, what new things are coming in, right? It's going to be more of an exciting time of um, forward action, right? We'll be out of the Mercury retrograde, which is making us kind of review things right now, energetically, emotionally, right? So once that stops slowing things down, then we'll also have more clarity on the things that we have been trying to move forward with during the retrograde, because this new moon really pushed a lot of things forward. This is why we're doing this right now. Right? All the new things, I have to do my new stuff too, right? Do my side of the work. So March is just really looking like a time of moving forward. Mhm. Again, it will depend on where everyone is with themselves and individually, right? So everybody is at different paces. So this is why we're always saying be in the highest alignment that you can, be doing what you can to be as aligned with your true self, the self that is aligned with God and source and all that is, because then this allows for that acceleration of everything, because everything is just seamless. There's lots of um, resonant synchronicities that you feel really good about and excited about, right? And there's usually this forward momentum that you're not even so much trying as you are just going along with the flow of what is already occurring, right? And so this is why we're constantly aligning with ourselves and outside of these pre-programmed patterns and thoughts and ideas or drama going out in the outside world, right? A lot of that is um, getting the message here. It's kind of like a used car salesman, right? Even if you need a car, right? Are you going to go to a used car salesman that's just trying to sell you on something? Or are you going to go to someone who's going to be genuine and really help you find what aligns with you for your highest and best, right? There's just like two different ways. There's the drama kind of artificial way, and then there's the true genuine way. And so we're just trying to stay focused in that true, genuine, aligned way of handling our lives and everything else that is occurring. Okay. So we'll start wrapping this up here. And we're getting a lot of thank yous. Thank you for your questions and jumping on here. Great. Feeling quiet, calm is wonderful. And here's a question about crystals. Why can I hold some crystals in my hand and feel the vibration, and then others I can't feel anything? So crystals are, they have a vibration, and if we're needing to learn that vibration or needing to like set ourselves to that vibration, it's going to hold an example of that for us, right? So if you're not feeling anything, then it's not what's needed, right? It's kind of like, well, feeling really thirsty and then eating a bowl of rice. It's not what you needed. You needed water, right? And so the bowl of rice really isn't going to help you out because it's the wrong frequency, it's the wrong thing coming in, right? It's not what was in alignment for the shift that was needed, right? So it's just, making it really simple. Yeah, so yeah, there's never any judgment in any of the crystals. Sometimes I feel really drawn to some, and then sometimes I don't feel them at all because I'm in a totally different frequency. It's just, you'll go through phases and changes, and just allow that. Maybe you won't even need the crystals anymore, and you'll be shifting your frequencies in other ways, right? There's lots of different options. So whatever's working for you, you could just go with that. All right. Okay. Well, this has been so great checking in with you all. And I'm going to be doing this every Tuesday. Okay. So every Tuesday at 3 for 30 minutes, we'll do these questions and a check in. And at some point, I would like to try to integrate doing a live phone call so I can just do a little mini reading for somebody's question live for everybody to hear and experience as well. All right. So get your questions together and you can email them to me. And then ideally, I will put together the topics that will blend together and to create a nice little show. And then we'll do a phone call through my work number. All right. Okay. So I am sending you all so much love, and we're just going to wrap this up for now. So if you didn't get your question answered, next week, 3 o'clock, same time, okay? And you can write down your question for yourself and do it in the chat or email it to me, whatever. We'll work out how the questions work best, all right? So sending you so much love and so much light. Thank you so much for joining this very first episode of our lovely new little show of Awakening and Wellness. I'm Sherry Mosley, and I will see you next week, Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Okay, bye for now.